Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Okay. We've never done this.
This is our first pop culture episode recap of any show, but we're going to do Love is Blind season 3. We know you guys really wanted it, and we're here to do it.
Yeah. We're sorry this is late. It's my fault. I was on tour and we couldn't do this, so we wanted to have this out as early as possible, and it was just totally impossible. I couldn't even watch it for like nights. After it came out, I was just freaking out.
So the finale came out last week. There's spoilers ahead, so don't watch this. Otherwise,
if you haven't seen it, you don't even want to watch this because we're not going to recap what happened. We're just going to dive right in.
Yeah, but you weren't watching it. The finale came out last week on Wednesday, and I was like biding my time until you could watch. And I was texting everybody alive. I've read every think piece. I've read every comment on every person's Instagram. I was texting Deep D just for some tea. I was like, Ashley hasn't watched it yet. This was an explosive season, a lot of opinions.
Why are you This is an explosive season.
This is my dream. I'm like edging. I'm so excited.
You're interviewing for the host position as we speak.
Well, we should replace Nick and Vanessa. I think we do a better job.
Yeah.
Petition.
I mean, I wasn't impressed with them.
I don't know what the point of hosting a show is if you show up twice.
Well, I mean, I just wasn't, so impressed with their hosting of the reunion.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
Yeah. So we're just going to kind of recap the reunion and sort of the finale and the reunion, not the entire season. Mm-hmm. And we're doing this. We have to run to another recording in 40 minutes. I'm wearing combat boots. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm wearing jeans.
You wore a turtleneck, which I told you to stop doing.
No, this
You're
turtleneck's
not gonna like
good.
it.
No, I love this turtleneck. I want
nude turtlenecks.
There's something, they're all different. Yeah, a nude. I can wear a black because my titties look too low. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
When it's a high neck.
I don't agree, but you're always upset when you wear
in a turtleneck, cotton jeans, Levi's, no stretch, and combat boots. I am so physically uncomfortable.
You look great. I said to her,
Bella just looked up and goes, ooh.
I texted Ashley before I came over. I was like, I'm so fucking sick of getting ready.
Okay, so I just want to say off the bat, this goes without saying, we don't know these people. We don't know the full story. We don't like that people would make assumptions about who we are without knowing a full story. So we don't want to do that too. So it goes without saying that this is based on just what we saw. We don't know for sure. Mm-hmm. It is reality TV. They showed who they are, but it's still heavily edited and whatever. You guys know how it works. I don't like when I see comments on the internet that are like, this person's a narcissist or this or that. It's like, you don't, maybe for sure, but you don't really know every single thing that happened.
There's extreme editing, hot take, that goes into curating these narratives that you see on television that they pull a 45-minute episode out of days and days of recording. And I was actually thinking about you and I, because you and I have done interviews where we've sat down with somebody that I think is great and rational and wonderful. And we've written some of the responses and the pull quotes that people take out of context, even about us. I'm like, that's not what I meant. That's not what I said. And it's happened to even us, so I have empathy for people. I mean, don't do a reality TV show if you don't want that to happen.
100%.
There's no number that could get me to do it.
Yeah, I when people say it comes with the territory, no, bullying and threats and those things shouldn't really come with the territory. But yeah, people thinking things about you that you may not believe are true, that does come with the territory because you're leaving your reputation in the hands of producers.
Yeah, I would never do it. We produce our own show. Ashley edits it. I leave my reputation in Ashley's hands.
If you're lucky, it's me.
When she's like, I'm editing, I'm like, I better be nice to her. Bring her cookies that day.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to kick this off in order of least problematic to most. Listen, I just want to start with SK and Raven. I am so excited that they are actually back together. I have never done a 180 on a character like I did with Raven. I couldn't stand her character at the beginning, and then she turned out to be our queen. SK is our unproblematic king. I love them so much. Bella?
What? No, Bella, I can't hear this. I chills now.
Bella just told us there's that happened this morning.
All right, well, all things. Listen, let's put a pin in that. Bella.
Thank you for speaking out, Bella. Do you want to come over here? Okay, well, just let's
suspend that we knew that. And just, I have things to say about her actually that have nothing to do with this, not about SK, but she really did look so bad in the beginning. And I remember texting you, I was like, she seems like a shitty person. But I will say she was doing workouts while she was talking to Bartise. And I will say, if I had to listen to that idiot talk, I would work out too.
Yeah.
I would sit there doing stretches all day long.
I know. We thought it was so insensitive. And now I'm like, go ahead, girl. Mm-hmm. Do your P90X while this 25-year-old is sharing his deepest thoughts. I don't care. Yeah.
Also, I read this thing. This is not my original thought. It's in a BuzzFeed article, but they said that like SK and Raven had like a very traditional relationship path where like they didn't have sex right away, and they went back into the real world, and they actually like did take their time and get to know each other like a regular couple would.
Yeah, I mean, but again, that's not the premise of the show. So they kind of bucked what you're supposed to do with the show. It seemed like at the altar, it felt really sad to me because the moment with his mother, and she had come so far, and I'm glad to see that they are trying to get in the real world. But it seemed like at the altar, she knew this isn't over.
Yeah, I mean, I think so much goes into this, and the same article is, at some point I'm going to have to quote the title of this article, but people are always like, well, why did they go to the altar? And it's like, because they'll get sued by production.
They literally have to. That's the show.
That's the show. So if you guys don't know this, or this is not obvious, you will be sued. So I was reading a quote from Shane, and he said, I called production the night before in season 2 and said, like, we're not going to go through with this. I don't want to do this. And they were like, great, we're going to hit you with a lawsuit.
Well, and there's a lot we don't know. I mean, even, listen, we're Team Deep D forever, but Shake has come out and been like, y'all don't even know what happened between us, how we all went out afterwards, whatever. Again, Team Deep D, but Shake has been popping off. I don't hate it.
Shake has
some
made
things
a highlight.
He made a highlight. You guys can go watch it. Okay, we've got to keep this rolling. Alexa and Brennan.
Alexa and Brennan, I don't know. I don't have that much to say about them.
Yeah.
I think her dad's really hot. So if Ted is single ever again, hit me up, Ted. Love you.
Wait, Ted is his.
Isn't his name Ted?
I said he looked like Ted Cruz, kind of.
Did we? His name's not really Ted.
I don't think it's Ted. I've been calling him Ted because I said he looked like
Alexa. Will you find out Alexa's
Alexa?
You're a tall queen too.
Alexa also is the Alexa. Alexa, tell us.
Alexa, what's
She's not plugged in.
Damn it.
It's my old one.
All right,
it's fine.
Her dad's hot.
Yeah.
And I didn't care about this couple. I thought that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I think that they have a beautiful love story. They clearly love each other. They were really obsessed with each other, and I'm happy they found love. I don't have like a ton to say about them.
So I think they were a favorite, like from the jump. I really loved them, even though I say you can never trust a Brennan. But I think she's funny. Did you see her Instagram post of the both of them? And she was like, "Here's these two zaddies y'all been wanting," and then she goes, "Y'all stay appropriate in the comments." Oh, you gotta get in there, Raina. You have to go comment.
She's
on her
the
dad.
only one I'm not really reading because they're like the most normal. When I say I don't care about this couple, I just mean I don't care to talk shit on this couple. Like I'm just happy for them.
I think she's funny. I liked her. I liked him. I think they obviously have a real love. The one thing I didn't love is, well, I'm torn. He went a little hard on the reunion. Brennan, who was just like so soft-spoken and the whole time. And then he kind of like rallied with the women against Cole. And listen, we love to see a man standing up for women, his woman, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then when we saw how it played out, I'm like, he really jumped on board. It almost felt like Alexa had coached him ahead of time to like get in there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he should have automatically sided with the boys, but he went a little hard when he was like, don't call her crazy. And Cole was like, okay, she's a liar. like Brennan was like, don't say that. Don't say that. Like it felt a little rehearsed or a little like he planned ahead of time to be that kind of character.
It felt kind of neggy and not nice. I don't know. Like it
just felt like he was trying to look a certain type of way. But again, I mean, still, I like them.
Yeah, I don't feel like, you see it on a lot of times on Real Housewives where the women are like, men need to stay out of the women's drama. And it's like, I don't know, it doesn't exclude you from having an opinion, but it felt a little like he was just poking to poke.
Well, yes. And he didn't really have a leg to stand on. Like, if he would have been like, yeah, actually, he did go out after the bachelor party and get this girl's number. Like, yes, then that's what we want to hear because he has some information that is actually important to this whole attack. But it just felt like he was jumping on board to be on like his wife's team. And I think she kind of sat back. Like she kind of like sicked Brennan on Cole.
I felt that too.
Yeah. So I didn't love the vibe, but guys, we don't know. I don't know. And I'm a fan.
I think he was just trying to be a bad bitch.
I want to know if a bad bitch. He was trying to be a bad bitch. And I want to know if like if her dad is like supportive because he was like, she's not going to be with that schmuck. I wondered if he's come around.
I spent a lot of time in Dallas. My dad lived in Dallas for like 10 to 12 years. My dad was married to somebody who was from Dallas. I spent a lot of time with her family. I mean, his whole vibe of just like very protectiveness over his daughter like didn't shock me at all. I'm surprised he didn't show up at the door with a gun being like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I guess guess I sort of have like a little more understanding of that type of world. But yeah, Ted.
Dallas Jewish people.
Dallas Jewish people. Did you find his name?
Adam. I called him Ted. What? Raina, I just was calling him Ted because I said he was like, he had a Ted Cruz energy. But Ted Cruz is heinous and he's not. But
this isn't even like a Richard Charles Vanessa thing. I thought it was Ted.
No, I called him that. Okay. Nancy and Bartise. So I want to say, it's funny when they played that clip of Raven being like, she's that girl that you see at Walmart and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to her. And then I also thought she was kind of annoying. But by the end of it, I was like, we must protect Nancy at all costs. I think when you see where she comes from and what she's been able to achieve in her life and where she stands on issues. And I just was like, I love this woman and she deserves better. And I wish she wouldn't have doubled down on this relationship with this guy that was way too immature for her and like not a right fit and made her feel bad about herself. And at the reunion, I wish she would have had the energy for Bartise that she had for Cole. She was just coming at Cole. I'm like, why don't you go to give this? Why don't you go after your ex this way?
I completely co-sign everything you said, and I love her so much. I think that it's probably self-esteem issues. It's harder to like go with the person that was coming at you. It's just easier to make commentary on another person.
Yeah.
I think that couple, and also we will get to the stars of the reunion, Cole and Zanab,
the anti-heroes.
I think a lot of these couples just suffered from an extreme age difference, and a guy who's 25. Like that guy Bartise didn't really have his shit together. I don't think he's like a worldly person. I think his views on listening to him like mansplain like how many abortions you're allowed to like budget to yourself. Like it just didn't seem like a worldly person to me who like understood women and women's rights. And he was like, well, if you're young.
No, he didn't.
Like his opinions were ridiculous.
I mean, we can do this now or we can do it at the end. It's something I really want to discuss was this older established woman with this younger immature man.
You want to wait until Zanab and Cole?
Yeah,
okay.
We can, because it's a discussion I want to have and like how it kind of can work in a bubble, but absolutely not in the real world. And we can talk about why.
I thought Nancy showed a lot of grace and maturity, and she was so poised, and she stayed really positive when she was speaking to somebody who had really different opinions than her. And so much more than I'm able to. I mean, she really was able to explain herself and articulate. And she really, I think, took such... When she met his family, he was like, this is Nancy, guys. She would abort a baby if it had Down syndrome. And I really felt for her in that moment because she was put in like such an impossible situation where she had to then explain herself to these people. But I thought she showed a lot of kindness and grace and poise the whole show.
I mean, I wanted to read this quote from that BuzzFeed article. We'll get to it. But like the way her family reacted on the wedding day just was like gross in a like what the show makes these people do. Not gross on her family's part. Her family is like flipping out. Her mom's like, you hurt my little girl. Her brothers, are all protective. And it's just like, it felt so exploitative. And like, I didn't love it. I references in that article again, but like she kept her cool that way too. Like she's just, I feel like, again, we don't know these people for real, but she just seems like an angel and that she's really come so far.
Yeah.
And kind of clearly coming from not a lot of resources, money.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I think he was really almost grasping at straws for why he wasn't into her. I just think he wasn't attracted to her. But he's like, but the whole abortion thing came out of nowhere. And her boyfriend, her ex seems to still be involved in her business. And he seemed to be grasping at straws a little bit to me to just find a better way of saying on national television, I'm just not attracted to this person. He also said that a lot of times. So, he got them all in there.
Yeah, I had this feeling, and I'll just say it now while we're talking about him. I'm not excusing these guys, Bartise and Cole, saying these things to their partners about, I find someone else hotter, you're a 9, she's a 10. It's insane to me. But I told you that I think they feel more empowered to do it because of the premise of the show. Again, I'm not apologizing for them or excusing the behavior. It would hurt me and make me be like, whoa, we're not a match. That's a crazy thing to say to me, but I don't think they would say it about some random girl in the bar in a real life situation. I think they were very poorly trying to make a point in the premise of the show. As the premise of the show is you don't see someone's looks. So like, I feel like they were trying to say, not that it's okay that this person's hot, but I want to be with you. I chose you. Not understanding women at all, not understanding the implications of their words. but it doesn't make it right. But it's like, I just don't think those guys would have been like, remember tonight when we were out at the bar, this girl was hotter than you and she talked to me. Like, you know what I mean? I felt like somehow they felt like those were conversations they could have because of the show or something.
Yeah, I think you're completely right.
But it's terrible. It made those women feel bad.
I think that it's not so crazy in private even to say to your friends, like, I'm just not attracted to this person. Why shouldn't I be with somebody that I'm attracted to? I think you're right. They were just speaking to the premise of the show. They're also, I'm not making excuses for them. I think what the stuff they said was disgusting and terrible, but about women's weights and the way they look and the women around them being better looking than them. But I think they're, again, just young. And I don't want to blame everything on being young, but I think that you're 25 and you learn about the world and kindness and you become a better person.
I think that it's stuff that every gender says behind closed doors. I'm not endorsing, but we talk about guys' looks privately. I say stuff that I wouldn't want other people to hear, or especially not on a TV show. So again, not excusing it, but you talk about how you feel about someone you're dating's looks, their body, whatever it may be, to your friends.
Yes, of course. And well, the whole premise is like, is love is blind? I think they're like, it's not in these boxes. I really enjoyed this person. Do you know how many people I could date? Like, even my last relationship was wonderful, but it was sort of a COVID relationship in the sense that like we got along really well when the world was shut down and we didn't have access to a lot of things. And everybody that found somebody during COVID relates to this exact premise, but no relationships exist in a box. And you do have to see what somebody looks like and how the sex is and what their family's like, what their religion's like, how they work, how they spend money. I mean, love is the opposite of blind.
Of course, I want to just double down on saying like it's insane to say something like that to your partner because it's so insensitive.
I totally agree.
I just want to be realistic that people have these thoughts.
Right.
You know, but anyway.
And people want to be with somebody that they want to fuck and that they're attracted to. So I didn't like how it was said and how they went about and they told everybody also. It felt almost like mean-spirited to just continue to tell everybody and talk about it.
Yes, and tell it. Yes, because you know you're being filmed. I mean, the way that Zanab and Nancy in those moments, like, I mean, again, I don't know how I would react with cameras on, but I'm pretty sure I would be like, what the fuck?
I know.
No. That's insane. You're an asshole and we're not going to work. Like, if you want to be with me, you need to think I'm hot. I'm not going to try to win you over if you're not attracted to me.
Well, it's interesting looking at the two of them, Zanab versus, I totally agree with you. I think a woman who's a little more like standing in her power, that like is confident, would just look at somebody like that and be like, shut the fuck up. Who are you to talk to me like that?
Yeah. I'd be like, are you insane? Also, don't tell me this for one, but I'm going to find someone that does think I'm a 10 out of 10 in their eyes. So bye.
That's how I feel. I mean, obviously they're under contract, so they can't do that. But I thought it was interesting.
They didn't even react. They were just sitting there taking it in like, totally. Yeah.
Well, I think both of them had very different reactions. I think Nancy...
They were upset. They weren't like... They were upset, but they held it in.
I think Nancy held it in more and was trying to be kind and understanding. She actually like seemed like she understood the premise of the show more of being like, okay, this is what we talk about on this show. Zanab, and I think I have, we'll get to them and dive into them. I have a little more sympathy for her than the average person. I think she just shut down. I don't think she knew how to deal with these things. I think that if you feel that your partner is constantly saying to you, I'm not that attracted to you, I don't feel a physical connection. See, these girls around you, they're 10s, you're not. I think that her reaction was really negative and naggy and unpleasant. I mean, to watch any interaction with them was really cringe.
Yeah. I also would be like, everybody knows Raven's hotter than me. You aren't supposed to say it to me. I know what I look like. I'm saying if I were Nancy, it's about me. It's about if I was in that bed and someone was talking about Raven, she's hotter than me. You're not supposed to A, think that, but if you do, B, not tell me.
Right. It also wouldn't make me hate myself. Like, I think she accuses Cole of like stealing, we can move on to Cole and Zanab. She accuses him of stealing her confidence, but I don't think you went into this with confidence. No. And somebody like you or I that was being told this, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine that other women around me are beautiful. You and I have friends that I think are way more beautiful than me. It doesn't make me less beautiful, less desirable. And Zanab is a 10.
Yeah. I mean, it would bother me. I'm not going to act like that wouldn't faze me.
It would bother me.
I would be like, we're not going to be together. I'll never get over this. I'll never get over the fact that you don't really think that I'm the hottest girl in the room. or B, that you would say it. You know what I mean? That you feel comfortable telling me that. Like,
you wouldn't get over it with your partner, but you would get over it personally. Like you wouldn't.
Oh, right. It wouldn't like destroy my self-confidence.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. You wouldn't say to yourself, I hate myself now. And I think that you have to walk into a situation like this already not liking yourself.
Yes. We'll talk about it. I think Bartise was trying to flex that like he could get Raven, and Raven's like, nah.
I love
like her. I think he was trying to like show off in that this was my other option, and she is arguably the hottest woman on the show. And like we had a thing, and like she was my other choice, but I chose you. You should feel so lucky, which is also gross.
I agree. And we didn't talk about this, but her response to him talking to her in the pool at that episode was also so poised. I was really impressed by her response. She was like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. In the real world, we don't work out. I'm glad you're attracted to me. Cool.
Okay, I think we should end with Cole and Zanab, but I wanted to talk. In my head, I want to say Zanab, but it's because she goes by Zay. Okay, so Matt and Colleen.
So I watched the reunion. Everybody, of course, addresses that, his anger issues, his extreme need to control her behavior was never addressed in the reunion. It never comes up from anybody who's throwing grenades at Cole or Bartise. Even their physical demeanor was so uncomfortable and hard to watch. He is gripping her body. She looks terrified. Her face looks like she's going to be sick. And Bella sent us this great article this morning.
Do you want to read the thing?
Yeah.
So she looked terrified the entire time. She fully broke the fourth wall. She was looking at the camera. I swear this part sent a chill down my spine where she I swear to God, her eyes were like a plea for help in the camera as he's like gripping her. She looked terrified and like, help me.
Yes.
Okay. This was in a Psychology Today article. Thank you, Bella, for sending us this. So this is from a psychologist. She kind of blames the host for not holding him accountable or saying anything. It says, this is on the reunion. Matt forgivingly describes his behavior when recalling the fight in Malibu. I did kind of lose my cool a little bit. Quote, no one calls him out on this inaccurate narrative. His behavior was alarming and abusive. Why aren't the other women defending Colleen and demanding Matt apologize just as they supported Zanab? Not only do people not defend Colleen and reprimand Matt, they do the opposite. They hold Colleen accountable for crossing a line with Cole, but do not see any problem with Matt's behavior. The worst part of this was when the Lachey's made the group rewatch the fateful scene in Malibu. You can see Colleen's body tense, her breathing change, and her heart race. She is stiff and anxious the entire episode. She barely smiles. She stumbles over words as she tries to explain. She even apologizes for getting emotional and crying. If she were presenting that way in my office, I'd be very worried about her. If Matt is as abusive as he appeared on screen, then the Lachey's and the entire production team made an unforgivable mistake. They put Colleen in the line of fire for more abuse. They reopened the first trigger of Matt's abuse and encouraged contestants to rehash their reactions. Nick Lachey even turns the focus on Colleen when Brennan reflects on the situation, prompting Brennan to blame Colleen, even though he was talking about Cole's part in it. Not only did they let Matt get away with abusive, inappropriate, and unacceptable behavior, but they also put Colleen at risk for more abuse.
I feel choked up
feel like I want to cry. I mean,
if you read the comments on everyone's Instagram, Zanab had to turn her comments off. Cole has tens of thousands of comments. So does everybody. I couldn't believe the outrage and response to everybody else's, but Matt got no heat on the show and no one addressed this whatsoever. But I went to Colleen's Instagram and people are really concerned. All the comments are like, I'm very concerned for you. And I hope she's okay. I hope that this...
Yeah, you can't, I'm not accusing someone of being a physical abuser, but I think that, because we don't know, but I think that we all as women felt it in the show, like, whoa, the way he's speaking, his body language, coupled with the way that I reacted to him on the show, and then the way that she looked at the reunion. Also, one thing was like the whole thing of her and Cole talking, the way he treated Cole.
It was wild
was so drastically different from the way he treated his partner, his fiance. Cole, he's like, yeah, man, totally. These things happen. Like you can feel the way he feels about women versus men. And I think it's a bit of a red flag they're not living together because they seem like a couple that would live together. I don't want to live with anybody. So I want to make that clear. But I saw this tweet that was like, Colleen, I haven't moved in with Matt in the entire 16 months since we got married because I don't want to screw over my roommates. Translation, I'm terrified of that man. Like, that's a long fucking time. This filmed, if you guys didn't know, this filmed the same time as season 2.
In May of 2021.
Yeah, so it's been a minute. And it seemed like the excuses were like, my roommates, what? Like, and I feel like Nick and Vanessa were like, what do you mean? Like, you save money when you move in together. Like, we've been over a year at this point. Like, again, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but from our point and so many other people and this psychologist, it was unsettling.
I don't have anything else to add, really. I mean, that was perfectly said. I worried about her, and the body language was really crazy, and I hope she's okay. And if she's not, I hope that the support from everybody empowers her to get some help, because no one should be treated like that. And yeah, they've been together for a year and a half at this point.
Yeah.
If they're not living together, I think something's probably seriously wrong.
It could be just a bad relationship, like it could be a lot of fighting and verbal abuse and just be really combative. Like, we don't know. And I'm really not trying to accuse people of those types of things. But again, like, we saw what we saw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The grand finale.
Cole and
Is
Zanab.
it Zanab?
I say Zanab.
Zanab. Okay. I'm having a hard time with it.
I think I have a little more sympathy for her, and I relate to her more than your average person. I would be annoyed by Cole's behavior. I thought he was really young. I thought he clearly lives in like this dirty apartment. He's just sort of annoying. And I understand her impatience with him. And I see something in myself when I see her like correcting the way he's cooking, where I would have gotten in there and jumped in. But like, I've had to work on myself to change myself from having to like make comments about somebody all the time and rip them down and withdrawing and being so miserable and neggy and unpleasant to be around when I don't like the way that you, unpack a suitcase, because it's going to be bad for both of you. So I have sympathy for her in that vein, and pretty much just that. And then, of course, I understand that if a person continuously says to you that you are not my physical type, the women around you are better looking, they imply that they do not really date white women. They imply that they only date white women. Mm-hmm. And finally, they mockingly call you bipolar repeatedly while they're laughing at you. I understand that if somebody makes comments about what you eat, that maybe your truth is, I feel like that was the implication of what you said to me, that you think I'm overweight. Okay, that's my prequel to how I feel about them.
People are saying, are you team Zanab or team Cole? And I'm like, neither.
We're neither.
I think Cole is an immature 25-year-old dude. I think that he kind of went in under this guise of brutal honesty, and he hurt her feelings. And I think that he has already looked back on the show and is mortified and upset, but he'll look back on it probably, I would hope, if he has some growth in 5 or 10 years and be like, that's not even the same person. Yes. If he decides to grow in the right direction. I think that, again, like I said, he would have said those things that would immediately be like, oh, whoa, I'm out. So I'm not in support of Cole, and Rain and I haven't loved all this support and like everyone's sucking his dick online. Like, he did like nothing wrong. But I think that Zanab at worst is a narcissist, a manipulator, and a pathological liar. Mm-hmm. And I think at best, she just has a lot of insecurities, and Cole unfortunately brought all those to the surface even more. And we just don't know. I think the smoking gun would be if the bachelor party thing is a complete lie. Yes. Cole certainly made it seem like it was. He seemed flabbergasted about it. Mm-hmm. No one could back it up with any proof. So that, to me, if we could find that out, I'd be like, whoa, crazy town.
Yeah.
But her post, her apology veered on this narcissist level. Yeah. That's kind of how a narcissist would act with this, like, here's the, if you guys read it, she did this long, like, quote unquote apology. I think it's crazy that she brought up Deep D. So if you really read between the lines and you know what happened, this filmed at the same time or around the same time. And she basically said, I'm sorry you saw Deep D's wedding first. So basically, I'm sorry that my I choose me moment paled in comparison to Deep D, which made me feel as though I am playing a part. I'm trying to come across as this bad bitch, but you guys already saw Deep D do it. The two were very different.
They were extremely different.
They were different. And that was a little bit of a red flag to me. Like, why even bring this up? It feels like you are admitting that you were trying to be a certain type of person for the viewers.
The way that Deep D behaved, I mean, it aged well, first of all. So she didn't throw a bunch of grenades at him. She just said, I choose me. She didn't say you're so terrible. And then he showed himself to also be so terrible as it played out in the future.
This is the part, I have all these things, so I want to read that. This was a tweet that said, the funny thing about all the hate Zanab is getting is that we already hated Cole. She could have simply done nothing and we would have closed the show hating him. But no, she had to exaggerate to make him look worse. And now she seems diabolical.
Yeah.
And then the other one, Zanab, you destroyed my self-esteem, but I don't regret you. You're a disgusting piece of shit, but I love you. You're a horrible person. I can't stand you, but I would do this all over again. It's okay, Cole. I forgive you. You're not a bad person. You ruined me.
That's exactly what she said. It's the perfect summation of exactly what she said. Deep D was just like, I choose me, and she bounced. Like she just...
No, it was different. We could talk about the cuties.
So
can I just say that
cuties are
I cannot stop laughing about cuties, tangerines, little cute. I love cuties being an integral part in the biggest scandal of the season.
Well, so this was really funny. The way that you, so much to say. I was so involved in this. I was like in her comments the minute that this came out.
Yeah.
People really carried torches for her and were like, you're a fucking liar, you're a narcissist, like every word that you could use against a person, and went to Cole and just like pages. I mean, you saw those comments, pages and pages and pages and pages.
Yes.
And I don't think that her behavior absolves his behavior. He still did these things. They still exist. It's not like Team Cole, he's a king. I mean, I still think people were like, you're a king, you did nothing wrong. He still did some things that were not nice. Her behavior just really trumped his. Yeah. And you said to me, as soon as you finished watching the cutest thing, you were like, I wasn't that shook by this clip. Nobody was shook by it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I also said, I wonder what all those girls thought when they watched the cutie scene.
I can't stop thinking about it.
Because they were again carrying torches for him. I mean, to me, again, I think that he had brought out her insecurities. I think she went into the show with insecurities. The cutie scene to me, I mean, he was annoying. Watching that scene, I was like, oh my God, I wouldn't last a day with this fucking guy. His age was showing. He's annoying to me.
Yeah,
like he's not a person. Again, I really don't think he's this terrible guy. I think he's just fucking annoying. And you could tell she was annoyed and it was cringe to watch. This is a bad match. This is a terrible match.
Yes, he's not reading the room. She's clearly a little in a bad mood and annoyed. He keeps like...
But is she always in a bad mood?
Yeah, she seems like she's always in a bad mood. He seems to bring out the absolute worst in her. She has like a very high bar for what she thinks that she deserves in terms of a maturity level of somebody and how they live their lives. And maybe that's not going to be satisfied. Even if it's a normal bar, it's not going to be satisfied by a 25-year-old.
But people went in on every line because the stuff that she said in the reunion, even aside from the cuties, was that he was like basically like managing her diet. And you see Cole and he's like, what? Why have you only had a banana today? I offered you my Pokeball. It was so playful. And he was like, save your appetito. Like, it was just this immature dude. And again, we don't know everything, but like when you hear the way she painted it and then you see that, you're like, whoa, crazy bitch. And again, I'm not saying that. And I would never say those things on a comment because you just don't know for sure. But it felt so different. I thought you had told me that they were about to air footage from the show.
Ashley hates a spoiler. I was like
you were just like the last 4 minutes or the footage or whatever. Yeah. So, cause I was like, this reunion isn't like that wild. And I thought the footage was going to be Cole stealing, like hiding her food or something. I thought it was going to be the other way. So I'm watching it the whole hour, Cole crying, melting down, thinking that we're going to see this footage of him actually being, fat shaming or abusive or something like that. And then it was the other way in terms of everybody thinks that the producers aired this to absolve Cole and show her true colors. Like it fucked me up because I thought it was gonna be the opposite.
So I think that I think the entire internet agrees with you. I think these are the most savage producers on earth. I think that you don't fuck with these people. She said 2 to 3 times, like they just let him off the hook. And the eye drops producer are not gonna let that happen. But the only thing I will say, so I didn't actually think it was going to be him managing her, what she eats. I think that people that suffer from extreme body dysmorphia and self-esteem issues and the way that they feel about their own body cannot hear you say anything about the quantity of food that they are eating. And this is exactly how a person with extreme body image issues is going to internalize that comment.
On top of everything else you said, on top of bringing up other women, the comment about white women or whatever, girls named Lily or whatever he said, all that and the implication. So
that's the sympathy I feel for her, is that I don't think she was lying. I think she really experienced that situation like that, but you can't go on a show like this if that's the case. Like you need therapy and you need help, and tons of people suffer from body image issues. I suffer from body image issues, but I have tried to work on that my whole life. And so people calling her a liar in that situation, I don't think she was lying. I think she really thought he was managing what she was eating in her mind, but that's not what happened.
Yes. Or she's a liar.
Or she's a liar.
If the bachelor party, or she's a crazy, manipulative, pathological liar. But I think it's somewhere in the middle. And I think the way the internet wants to react is always one extreme to the other. You're this team or this team. It's black or it's white. This person's a crazy narcissist and this guy's an angel. And that's really not reality for most things. I mean, that's why I love this one article. This is a Pop Sugar. These two people simply don't know each other and really they're strangers. They don't know each other's insecurities, what makes them feel put down or how they like to be spoken to and shown love. We have to remember that they met and got engaged behind a wall without ever seeing each other and got married in a month. So yes, I blame Cole for his insensitive comments and naivety. Is that how you say it? When it comes to the impact of words, I blame Zanab for letting her insecurities get the best of her and being crueler than necessary. But I also blame the show and its unrealistic expectation of these people. They hadn't done the emotional work necessary as a couple, let alone as individuals, to come on the show and have a successful relationship. And that was the BuzzFeed article as well, titled "Love is Blind is for absolute masochists and people who hate other people." And that talks about how the first line I screenshot, it was "Love is Blind has devolved into an even crueler version of itself." And it goes on to just say that type of thing. Like, these people reveal that they lack relational skills in front of millions of people. Their families seem more fed up at the spectacle. Listen, I mean, it's reality TV. It's what it is. You know, we are like the show. I'm just reading quotes from this article. You know, like it said, in a People interview published, Cole confessed, "I wish we could do it over and have more conversations beforehand." It says, "The thing is, they could have had more conversations at any time. No one was stopping them from working through their communication issues constructively or seeking advice from experts or loved ones. Instead, they end up revealing their sore points and lack of relational skills in front of millions of people." Like, it's a mess, you know, but that's why we watch the mess. And that's why we do this. And that's why we wouldn't go on the show.
Ever.
I'm not signing up for it, but people find true love on these shows. I mean, Lauren and Cameron are still together. Brennan and Alexa may make it all the way. Like, good can come out of it, but also this toxic shit.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that I wrote this down. I just think their example was such a glaring example of how this premise doesn't work and how these pods don't work. And especially when you have an older woman and a younger man, like, yeah, when you're just in a bubble, you can think like, oh my God, they're so fun and they do seem mature. And then you get out in the real world and they're not. And I wish Nancy would have seen that and not doubled down on her love for Bartise. And I think we're seeing this with Bachelor in Paradise too. This dynamic, it can work. You guys know I am supportive of older women, younger men, but this was such an example with those two couples of just like, these women are so far beyond these men. Actually, we don't know. We don't know for sure. But it was like, no, it doesn't. Love isn't blind in those cases.
I just don't. I mean, Ashley and I are all for dating younger men. We talk about it all the time. You should do what makes you happy. But I dated somebody over the winter last year that was 10 years younger than me. And I really enjoyed him one-on-one solo. He was wonderful. And I loved talking to him. He was so much fun. But like spending time with his friends, I felt a lot older than these people. I'm in a very different stage of life. The conversations are different. So of course it can work, but in a box, but there are no relationships in a box.
Yeah.
Until the next pandemic.
Remember? We're like, what did Love is Blind know?
My only final thought is that I feel like Cole got extra sympathy because he is hysterical and crying, and he clearly does really feel bad for what happened, but she is not crying and she does not appear to feel badly. And I do think it's worth just noting that the show was a year and a half ago, and I think that people hopefully go to therapy in that time period and deal with their issues. And I think women are more likely to do that. And so they're not melting into a puddle a year and a half later. Whereas men, I don't know they have as many outlets to do that. I'm not apologizing for men, but I don't think men talk to their friends ad nauseum about this and go to as much therapy and journal about it. And so I think that he was so hysterical because he hasn't had like a mirror held up to him.
Yeah. Much. I mean, we didn't love it and I think a lot of this can boil down to internalized misogyny. And like, again, Zanab could be a crazy narcissist.
Yeah. We don't know her.
But the way people reacted, again, I said it was the perfect storm to you. I was like, we have this woman who was just like dragged this man, embarrassed him on national TV. Then she kind of turns out to have been lying or exaggerating. And this man who was crying hysterically, melting down. The way that people see that, of course, they're going to go ride for Cole and drag her. But that's not what we would do because you don't know the real story. And like, I think we see this all the time with men and women, how people really like to attack women online more so than men. And that's why that was a bummer to see as well. But knowing that we don't know the whole story, I have a tweet that I feel like sums up my my full show.
I woke up, Ashley had sent me like 18 different messages and I scanned and just read, I hope this doesn't end our friendship.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure how you felt about everything. Okay. So I'm probably going to post all these. I want to credit all these people. We can put it in the YouTube description. This is only going to live on YouTube of like the articles and stuff like that. But this is this person on Twitter. She says, conclusions. Cole said some out-of-pocket stuff, but he wasn't as bad as Zanab painted him to be. She projected her insecurities and the cutie scene proved that. Bathwater Bartise will always be trash. Raven is that girl. Colleen, are you okay?
That sums it up. Thank you guys for watching, listening to this. This is so fun. I could talk about this forever. And just remember, you have literally no idea what goes on in these people's lives and on reality television. But if you want to be on the show, it's 78 questions. You can get them on BuzzFeed and apply for the next season.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to BuzzFeed.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.